Good afternoon, everybody. And I thought for the first time in one of these bulletins that I would do a live or semi-live recording to you this afternoon. The idea being that there's so many things to cover, and I just wanted to give a personal message to you all instead of putting it down on paper. First of all, it's such an exciting time, and I hope you are genuinely excited, probably relieved as well, that at last schools will be opening back up on Monday. And for the vast majority of our students, apart from Year 11 and Year 9, everyone will be coming back into school. And by Wednesday, we'll have everybody in, which is absolutely fantastic. Can I just take this opportunity to start off with by just saying a massive thank you for all your support and encouragement over what has been a very prolonged period of time, especially if we go back to last March. The messages that we've had through, the conversations I know that many have had with my colleagues have been absolutely fantastic, and each and every one of us at the school would like to just thank you for giving us that support, for supporting us in various stages. It has been tremendous, and I think it says everything about our school and our community and the relationship that we have with you all. So we're coming back on Monday, and there's just a few things that I wanted to explain to you with regards to just safety and practice and routines and that kind of thing. Much of what we, as I've explained in last week's bulletin, much of what we just did when we came back in September remains the same, which is great. And so all our risk assessments and those kind of things just transfer over to next week. But there are some subtle changes that I just want to talk to you about and just explain a little bit. The first one, and probably the most contentious one I know, is about face masks. And now the guidance that has been provided by the Department for Education that all students are required to wear a face mask, not just only in the corridors and when they come into school, but now when they are in their lessons. And this guidance has been extended to include right up till Easter. That's a very long time, which we all appreciate and we know is going to be challenging. But to ensure that we try and remain as safe as possible, and also our community remains as safe as possible, and to try and stop any sort of spread of this horrid and torrid pandemic and infection of coronavirus, we are going to have to try and work together on this, with all of us taking some sort of responsibility. And if it is deemed that face masks is the way forward by those that know far more than me, then that is what we have to do as a community. And so we ask that you really do support us with providing a face mask or face masks for your children during the course of the day. And then we will take care of the rest in school. There are clearly some students, though, that I know and we know have other reasons why they cannot wear a face mask. And those ones we knew about back in September. And that's because of other reasons, medical reasons, etc. If your child falls into that category, then we already know about it, then that'll be fine. They'll have their lanyard. If there is something new that you need to draw to our attention that means that your child or children cannot wear a face mask, then please can you contact the school and probably contact Mrs. Riley in the first instance so that she is aware, because she's the one who is responsible for distributing those lanyards. The other thing to say is that in reading the guidance, it talks about if a face mask gets moist and gets wet during the course of the day, it's important that a student has a second face mask to wear, because obviously by becoming damp and moist, it becomes less effective in stopping infection. So it is advisable that you have a second face mask. It's also advisable that those face masks are not the disposable ones, but they are the material ones which can then be washed. So again, just thinking about that, I'm sure by now you've got quite a few lying around the house, so to speak. So just some things to consider and think about. The second thing is testing. Now, I wrote to you a while ago to say that we were really quite excited about the possibility of our school joining in with this trial with Southampton University about a saliva testing procedure in which you would be able to do that at home and it won't require this lateral flow testing. Regrettably, just before half term, I received a letter having gone through to all the meetings and found out about the process and put things in place at school. I got a letter from the Southampton University saying that with regret that they were unable to roll out the saliva testing to the schools that they wished. I subsequently followed that up with rather a poignant and pointed email to them saying how deeply concerned I was that things were promised and why have things changed, especially as I had sort of made you aware of that. And I had a conversation over half term, which a gentleman responsible for the testing rang me and to explain that it was with regret that they had been over optimistic, and that back in the lab at Southampton University, the robots that they had planned to do all this and automate it so they could do up to 10,000 tests a day were still not ready and still couldn't cope. And as such, that has resulted in them not being able to test literally a tenth of what they had predicted. And he couldn't give me any deadline as to when this procedure and this process was going to start. So we are where we are, and we're having to revert to what the rest of the country is having to do, which is obviously the lateral flow tests. And over the last 3 days, since Wednesday, it's now Friday, since Wednesday, we've had obviously Year 10, Year 7 and Year 8 coming in. Many, many thanks for supporting with that. We've had over 90% of the students in each of those years groups coming in, which is great. And then obviously we've got Year 11 on Monday and Year 9 the following on the Tuesday. And then we will start that process again. Now, you would have also seen that the guidance sort of says 3 to 5 days, and we're testing obviously once a week for 7 days, every 7 days. That's purely a logistics thing. You know, the DFE send out this guidance and they say, schools, up to you, you know, get on with it. We can only do what we can do. And the testing is we're only being asked to test 3 times so that students get used to testing in school. It's no other reason for that but to test in school. And, you know, we've got, you know, a number of my support staff have given up huge amounts of time to be trained to do this, and have been testing ferociously over the last few weeks. And likewise, we've got a small number of volunteers who have now come in, who are going to help us over the next couple of weeks. We will be ready to roll out the home testing kits at the same time nationally. That will be the week beginning the 15th of March, and those kits will be coming home, and I'll say more and send out more information about that nearer the time. But that is why we are just having to go. We can only manage 1 year group at a time each day. That is our absolute maximum capacity. So I hope that's you understand that. When the students come back into school, other things will remain the same about sanitisers outside every single classroom, washing of hands before, with the additional basins we've got in place before they go into the dining hall. We've got them wiping down tables in between lessons so that as one class leaves, the other class comes in and those tables are sanitised. Again, all just trying to mitigate against this disease. We'll have one-way systems back in place, and we'll obviously have our staggered breaks, and we'll have our slightly staggered end of the day, which I've sent out information about last week. If you are having to isolate, and if we do have that situation where we're having to isolate students or we're having to send students home, or because of track and trace, then we'll follow the same practice as we did back in September, that if it's just a small number of students, then work will be provided by looking on our website at the Home Learning tab. If there are a significantly larger number of students that are unfortunately having to isolate and we're able to merge classes in school, then we will be able to free up teachers who will be able to then do some live learning with students at home. Okay, but we'll just have to manage that on a case-by-case basis and as these things pop up. But please bear with us for those 10 days that a child is having to isolate if need be. The final sort of part of this really for me is about as we hopefully follow the government and the Prime Minister's direction of travel with regards to the country opening up and coming out of lockdown, then we hope to do the same kind of things in school. We are allowed as of next week to start providing extracurricular activities, and your children would have noticed on the Google Classroom, PE already advertising certain events that they're doing, and more will come with music and drama, and I'm sure other areas of the school will start to open up. There will still be a case of that having to be done in bubbles to start off with, and in year groups, because again we've got to take it one step at a time. But I am forever optimistic that as we go through this the rest of this term and we head into the summer term, that as the nation starts to come out of from lockdown, as will we as a school. And we will be able to, provide more opportunities and more different things going on. And we've started to think as a staff how that might happen and what we might be able to do for our students to offer that extra things. I'll provide more information with time, and I hope to be able to offer greater things and really allow our students to get fully immersed into what school life should be like. And it's not just being in a lesson, but it's all those extra things that I think we all remember when we were at school. So that's the final things with that. For Year 11 parents, you will receive a link today to our information evening just about Year 11, which is next Wednesday, where we're going to do a live sort of broadcast through Zoom, so we can explain all the practicalities and where we're going with Year 11 and what we need to do and how we need to support them over these next few months. So I look forward to seeing hopefully a large number of you there. If you can't make it, do not worry, we'll record it and we'll put it out onto the website next Friday for you to see. If you have any concerns at all, then please don't hesitate in getting in touch with the school. Attached to this bulletin this week, you'll notice that we've sort of just listed again, especially for Year 7 parents who we've had very little contact with, but we've listed sort of key members of staff who are responsible for different things. And by emailing through to contact us and putting who for the attention of, then that email and that message will get through to them very quickly. Alternatively, picking up the phone, and if obviously someone's available, then they will be able to speak to you as soon as possible. Final thing from me is just to make you aware, and this is nothing to worry about, is that like many people, recently I've been contacted by the National Health to say that I now need to shield until the end of this term, so the 31st of March. Nothing sinister at all, really. Well, I don't think so anyway. It's just that I'm a diabetic, and as such I've now been classed as one of these extremely critically vulnerable people who cannot leave the home, or certainly can't go anywhere for any great length of time, which, as you can imagine, is a bit of a shock to me after 11 months and a shock to my family as well. But it's inevitably means that I'm not going to be actually in school for the remainder of this term up until Easter, which is not really a problem as far as the school is concerned, I'm sure. I've got a wonderful senior leadership team. I've got amazing teachers, as you know, and the school will run incredibly effectively. In fact, I probably won't even be missed. But I will be in touch with the school on a daily basis, working from here, my dining room, and obviously I can be able to be contacted at any time during the course of the day. It's just to make you aware, if you're expecting to see me, or if your son or daughter is all going, I haven't seen Mr. Mann for a while, that's the reason why I'm not going to be in school. But I'm still going to be trying to be forever in the presence of being in contact with school at various stages during the course of a day, and obviously during the course of a week. So that is pretty much it from me. I hope that kind of covers everything, and it gives you an idea of what the next few weeks will have in store for us. Obviously, we'll keep you updated each week, and if I need to write anything additional to you or contact you, I will do so. But we'll continue with our Friday bulletins, and hopefully, we'll just go from strength to strength. As I was talking to staff this week, it's this is a really exciting time now, and it's a really great feeling to have so many of our students, and all our students, coming back and being able to really re-engage with their learning and do all that we need to do to help them and support them in progressing with their studies, and with all those other things that school brings to enriching a young person's life. And here at Amery, I hope that we're doing a pretty good job by that. So it's goodbye from me for now, and have a good weekend. And as I say, we look forward to welcoming all our students back next week. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.